Hey guys, it's Cal on Hill, and I'm bringing you a gameplay here. This is a game of, I don't know if it's ground war or not. It's a domination on Afghan, and I'm using kind of a weird class that's practical but weird. It's the Tar Silenced with one-man army, hardline, and ninja, which is kind of weird. And I'm not using any kill streaks, so I think that was what made the score more impressive than it actually was. And I got quite close to a nuke, so you'll see that. But yeah, I didn't really want to talk about the gameplay. I'll just let you watch it. I think I was just going for Hardline Pro. But yeah, I'm just going to talk about a bit about my gaming history and you know, the games I've played up until now, which have led me to Modern Warfare 2. So I'm just going to start from right at the bottom, when I was a kid, and the first things I can remember playing, which is the Dreamcast. I used to play at a friend's house. He had a Dreamcast, and he lived with his nan, so we used to go over there and kind of just play for hours and hours, because we could just play all night. And we used to sleep in the living room, so we could just play really late, and that was a really fun time out with their Dreamcast. That was a long time ago, let me tell you. God, 10 years ago, more than that. Yeah, much more than that. Like, wow. Yeah, it was a really long time ago, and we used to play that. And then the first console I got myself was a PS1, I think, and I had that and played that for a while. And I can't actually remember what games I played on the PS1, but I remember having a PS1 later. I remember at the end of having the PS1, when the PS2 was coming out, I remember playing this game where you was like these plastic soldiers, and it was like an army game, but it was like third person, and you run around. And I used to play what's it? I don't know if it's called War Hogs or something like that, but it's like Worms, but you're pigs, which is a bit weird, but it was a pretty cool game. Also used to play Ridge Racer. I had the demo, which was a bit weird. It's a bit sad that I played a demo over and over, and there was only one track and like 3 cars, and I was just like an expert, and I could do the whole track like perfect without crashing once at top speeds. And yeah, that was a fun time as well, playing the Ridge Racer demo over and over. And I also played a game called Dark Skaters, which is kind of like Tekken. But yeah, I played that quite a lot. And then I got PS2. Actually, before the PS2, I played a lot of hand consoles as well. Like I had a Sega. It's a big fat old thing. I can't remember. It is massive cartridges and a Game Boy Color. But yeah, then I got the PS2 right when it came out, and I played kind of Path of Neo, Matrix Path of Neo. I played Need for Speed Underground, Need for Speed Underground 2. Loads of racing games. Juiced. They all come out a bit later, but I played a lot of racing games. I also played. Actually, it's really hard to think. I played so many games on the PS3. Final Fantasy. I played a lot of that. I actually played Final Fantasy on the PS1 as well. There was 3 discs for Final Fantasy 7, which I really got into. And then on PS2, I got Final Fantasy 10, and I played a lot of that. That was really fun as well. And then from the PS2, I kind of went onto Pokemon. Yeah. Yeah, I went to Pokemon on the Game Boy Advance, which I got one in Spain. No, not Spain, in Tenerife, which is, I don't know, I think it's owned by Spain, so you can forgive me for saying Spain. But yeah, I got a Game Boy Advance in Spain, and I got Pokemon, and the one I actually got into the most was Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire as well. But I also got Fire Red and Leaf Green and the other ones and stuff like that. But Ruby and Sapphire was kind of my main thing, and on Pokemon Ruby, I had over 300 hours of gameplay, so it's a lot of playing. I remember spending like all this time on holiday in a hot sun by the pool with my Game Boy Advance, you know, just tapping away at them buttons. A little crazy kid trying to level up his Pokemon. And you know, I actually got given or bought another Game Boy Advance by somebody for Christmas who didn't realise I had one already. So I ended up with 2. So the first thing I did was got the wireless trading thing, which was like these big old massive things you attached on the back, and it's like the first kind of wireless sort of thing you could do. And what I'd do is I'd keep restarting Sapphire, getting the starting Pokemon, and then switching it over, like trading it over. So right at the start you only get to pick 1 of 3 Pokemon. Well, I had like 2 of each on the one account, and I got the final Pokemon for each one. There was like this like big old whale thing, and Groudon or something like that, which was like a big old fat thing. There were end Pokemons like legendary things, and I got both of them, and that was all really cool. I played that a lot, like I tell you. Yeah, I played that a lot. After that, let me just think here. I guess I went to PC and I played RuneScape for a long time, and I've actually got the page up with the leaderboards, and I'm surprised I haven't actually been pushed out the leaderboards much. I mean, I played the original RuneScape, like there's a RuneScape 2 or something now. I played the very original one before all these activities, whatever they are, bounty hunters and all that stuff. They didn't even have Slayer, they didn't have thieving, they didn't have agility or herbalore. They was all gone. Hunter wasn't there. Dungeoneering, that's brand new. I haven't even seen that. But all these stuff are new, and I was like level 82, but my total level was 1,258. My highest level 71, no 77, 78. Fletching, woodcutting 78 and 77. 71 magic. So yeah, I played a lot. You know, I played a lot of RuneScape. It's one of them games though, the more time you put in, the higher level you are. And I was just a money whore. I had a lot of money on the game. But I really enjoyed that. That's kind of my kind of game where you build up levels and stuff. And when I played that, they had the wilderness. They had PKing, which is like where people would hang about in the wilderness with max strength and low defense. So they stayed at a low level and they could just kill everyone with massive hits. And the wilderness was just the place where you run out and you could just attack people, people on people fighting. But they took that away, and a lot of people said that ruined the game. And I stopped playing kind of when they took that away, even though I wasn't a PKer and I never really went in the wilderness. They also did like you couldn't trade with people all the time. You had to do equal value trades and stuff, and I made most of my money just trading. And one thing I used to do is get glory amulets, take them to the shrine with like a whole inventory full, charge them up so there was all amulets of glory, or like dragon necklaces, and charge them up. Well, actually no, because there was amulet of glory 0, and then you charged it up and it was amulet of glory 4, and you bought them for a certain price and sold them for like twice as much. It was like an insane profit thing. And I used to sell dragon helmets, and you know, I was a real money whore with it. But I really enjoyed that. That was one of the games I played a lot of. And moving on, I then went on to a game called War Rock, and you may or may have not heard of it. It was a PC game. It's kind of free shooter. This is my first ever shooter. I did play a little bit of Counter-Strike just before War Rock, but not as much. It was really, you know, Counter-Strike source. I didn't hardly play it at all, to be honest, because I got into it, but not too much. But yeah, then I played War Rock, and that was, I got to like level 29, which may seem like a low level, but it's a really hard game to level up on. I got pretty good at that, and I quit that. And that's when I went into console games, and I started on the PS2. I kind of only played racing games, and then I went and got Call of Duty 4 because a friend of mine who was like, "Hey, this game is amazing." I remember we was on the bus and I was asking him these questions. He was like, "Yeah, you can have attachments on your guns," and I was like, "Oh my god, it sounds amazing," because I like the whole idea of like upgrading your guns and perks and stuff. I remember this one time he said to me, well, this was the time on the bus, he goes, "Yeah, the max level's like 55, and I went, "Oh really? Has anyone ever got to it?" And he was like, "Well yeah, loads of people," because I've never played it, of course. But yeah, I kind of imagined it like War Rock, where on War Rock there was 100 levels and only like 3 people at the time had ever got to 100. So I was like, "Oh, has anyone ever got to 55? Like, that's amazing." He was like, "Yeah, loads of people have." I was like, "Oh, cool." And then, of course, there's 10th Prestige. You know me. A year later, I'm 10th Prestige on COD 4, and I guess from COD 4 I just moved on to Modern Warfare 2. And the whole thing about me starting recording was when I started to try and be an epic no-scoper. But that didn't work out too well for me. Then I went to epic quick-scoper, which also didn't work out too well for me. And I just went straight onto gameplay. And if you watch my really early COD 4 gameplays, I sound like I'm whispering all the time. So I think I've really come on as a commentator and as a player, because you know, I'm not a first-person shooter guy normally, and I've really come on to it. So yeah, that's basically it. Any questions? Go ahead and comment and things like that. And final score here is 40-5. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you later.